We will make America strong again.
We've had a wild 2 weeks in Cleveland and Philly.
A man you can bait with a tweet is not a man we can trust with nuclear weapons.
And tonight we'll show you what's next. We'll also have some fun and laugh at a political system that drives people mad.
It's just a pain in the neck.
This is Money, Power, and Politics tonight from Philadelphia. Well, thank you for joining us on our 2-week road trip through Ohio and Pennsylvania. We're coming home now to Tampa with a whole batch of trail tales. And since the Democrats spent a good deal of time talking about health care reform, we'll kick off our humor segment tonight by explaining it to our kids.
It's time now for Trail Tales.
Today I've got something very special for you. It's health insurance reform for beginners. Right. That's good. Congress agreed to change the law, but none could agree on what it's called.
Before we passed Obamacare.
By the way, it's called the Affordable Care Act.
Either way, it helped people buy something they'd use. But even the people who passed it were rather confused.
I think it's very confusing.
Some people liked it, while others did not. Some never cared, while others were scared.
Hello?
If you like your doctor,
Yes?
you will be able to keep your doctor.
Well, I think you have the wrong number.
Yeah. Scary. At first, the website would stall, freeze, and hang, with glitches our leaders had tried to explain.
It's just a pain in the neck.
Then, just as the leaders were ironing it out, a goober named Gruber stumbled about.
Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage.
We are here today to beat up on Jonathan Gruber for stupid.
Stupid.
Absolutely stupid. Stupid man.
I behave badly.
Congress tried to shift to Plan B, but they could not agree on what it would be, while the president figured out how to pitch it for free.
A lot of young people, they think they're invincible.
Did you say invisible?
I know, it's funny. Not really invisible, I know. The courts weighed in. It's now the law of the land, though even for Congress, it's hard to understand.
And I think the best way that I could explain back
the CBO routinely
and so this estimate on the impact of the ACAs.
What percentage of
so given the fact that the
due to expressed because let me rephrase that.
In our projection of the amount of debt.
I'm having a hard time understanding how that could possibly make sense.
The end. Thank you. Okay, and we're also excited to roll out some new humor segments for our new nightly show. So now I want to show you some of the segments we're cooking up for our home opener next week. Hey, Craig, keep on running. Oh, you're okay.
Run, man, run.
Coach Dutchie, thank you for the cameo.
Oh, no problem, Craig.
All right.
One of these stars is sitting in the secret square, and the contestant who picks it could win a special prize. All in the political squares.
Let's begin with X. St. Pete, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Rick Kreisman, and I am the mayor of St. Petersburg.
Who's representing Tampa today?
I'm Bob Buckhorn, and I am the mayor of Tampa.
That's right.
In sports, Scott Smith makes us call the plays. But in politics, we put him to the test. Time now for Call It with Scott Smith.
Man, I like all those options. I'd love to see all of them happen. Is E an option? No?
No, we don't have an
Let's
E.
go B. I'm gonna say the chair goes down.
Let's take a look. By the way,
settled here in our forum, this is Judge Marissa.
But
but they're both saying they want to protect American jobs.
Objection, hearsay.
Objection, argumentative.
Objection, leading the witness.
Objection, I have no witness.
Objection, lack of foundation.
Objection, badgering.
Objection, glasses and beard combo.
Objection with that tie. Who are you kidding? It doesn't match his coat.
And there you have some of the things we're cooking up for next week. Now, at the end of each week, we like to go through our Money, Power, Politics mailbag, but since I'm still here in Philly, I have to hand it over to Charley Belcher, who's holding up the reins back in Tampa, and hope that he's not running up my phone bill. Charley.
No, I have never spoken to someone in Australia before, so it's a first for both of us. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up. I gotta go. G'day, mate. Hello, Money, Power, Politics viewers. Charley Belcher here. While Craig has been busy at the RNC and now the DNC, I have been guarding his desk, making a few long-distance phone calls on his phone, and I've been eating Zaltoids. Craig has very fresh breath. Now we know why. But of course, it's time to check the mailbag. So, Janet says, Dear Craig, I really enjoyed your coverage of the RNC. But do you really have to cover the DNC? Janet, yes. Chad says, Dear Craig, I am thoroughly enjoying your coverage of the DNC. I lost an Altoid right out of my mouth. And Craig will one day find it somewhere. This email from Chad says, Dear Craig, I am thoroughly enjoying your coverage of the DNC, from the crazy start to the happenings inside and out, and all the speeches. Thanks for all your hard work. Chad, I will tell you that Craig will appreciate that sentiment. He is working hard. Been gone from home, going on 2 weeks now, turning out some great work, both at the RNC and at the DNC. So thank you for appreciating Craig's hard work. Not many emails this week, so I tell you what. Why don't we log on to Craig's Facebook page? I know it's rare for people to be talking about politics on Facebook, but let's go on there and see if we get lucky. Here we go. Mike on Facebook says, Sorry, Craig, I just can't listen to the lunacy. I'll come back to your show after the DNC is done. As long as you come back, Mike. Thank you. Elaine here on Facebook says, and she's responding to Craig's post about Bill Clinton's speech. Elaine says, After his speech, Hillary should be nominated for sainthood. What a joke. JD says, I find it mildly humorous that during the RNC last week, a lot of Republicans were complaining about people posting anti-Trump statements. Now, flash forward to now, and the DNC, those same Republicans, are on here bashing Hillary. Yes, JD, that's the way Facebook works. Let's see, one more Facebook comment. The perfect one to end on. Sandy Vaughn simply says, LOL. Sandy is laughing out loud at the democratic process, at Craig, at me. Doesn't really matter. As long as Sandy's having a good time, we're having a good time. You want to keep emailing us here? I'm going to make it even easier for you. The heck with Craig's email. I'm going to give you our brand new email address that we can all check here. It is MPP, which of course stands for Money, Power, Politics, mppmailbag@yahoo.com. And somebody will check that email and maybe even read it here on TV. Wow, who knew? Good stuff, Craig. Thanks for the mints. Well, I got some phone calls to make, and you've got more TV to watch. Thanks.
Coming up, we'll show you how gender-neutral public restrooms are already here in Philly and what people think about it. And we have a warning for Florida voters about a problem that could burn you at the polls. Well, for the past 2 weeks, we've taken you behind the scenes here at the Fox Election Centers and through the arenas of both conventions. And since gender-neutral restrooms are such a hot-button issue in Florida, we now want to take you behind the scenes to the restroom here at the DNC.
Where we at right now? We're located right now at the Wells Fargo Center.
At the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia.
We're excited. The DNC.
The Democratic
National Convention.
Philadelphia.
I don't have an issue with it.
This is as insane as anything I've ever seen.
I don't think it's strange. I think it's something you have to get used to.
As far as I know, there hasn't been any problem around it.
I've never seen a sign like that before.
At the DNC, there were going to be all gender bathrooms.
Well, you know, if that's the bathroom, that's the bathroom.
Gender-neutral bathrooms are used in a lot of places around the country.
It's just using the bathroom.
This is the first time I've ever walked into an all-gender bathroom. It was a little bit of a surprise.
Oh, yeah, he's not a woman. Okay, yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's something we all just have to get used to.
I went into my stall, women went into their stalls. Didn't seem like anybody had any problem.
As long as everybody keeps it clean and flushes the toilet, puts the seat down.
There should be options for every level of comfort, but I think what we need to do is respect our fellow Americans.
Something I think we'll have to all learn to live with now.
We are also now shifting our focus to the Florida primary at the end of August. And the deadline to register for the Republican or Democratic primaries is coming right up this Monday, August 1st. And we discovered a problem that could cost you your vote because we found dozens of voters who say the registration was switched without their consent.
Please come out and vote.
If you will go out and vote for me on Tuesday.
I'm just asking for your vote.
While politicians say we can change the system,
I hope every American will turn out and vote.
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 Every vote counts.
in Florida, the system is apparently changing us.
Effectively, I'm no longer a part of the system.
The system has switched some voters' party affiliation, in effect cutting off their ability to vote in their party.
I'm very passionate about politics, and so I would like for my voice to be heard, and at that point, my voice can't be heard if my vote can't be counted.
We started getting complaints about this after the last primary in March.
We checked all the boxes, crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's.
Voters like Jason Brooks say they're certain they registered as Democrats or Republicans before the deadline.
I registered as Democrat, but when I got there, I was no party. I was independent.
But they got hosed when they tried to vote.
We got there and they said, sorry, you're nonpartisan.
We found nearly a dozen cases.
It actually happened to a friend of mine up in Gainesville.
And we kept finding more.
I would say maybe 20 or 30, somewhere around there, that came to my attention. You know, there may have been more, I don't know.
Most voters we found say they changed an address or renewed a license at the DMV or tax collector. Then somehow their registration switched or defaulted to independent. And they don't remember ever signing anything to give up their party and with it the ability to vote in a primary.
If they realize on the day that they're supposed to go vote, hey, I'm no party affiliation, I can't vote.
Hillsborough Supervisor of Elections Craig Latimer ties the problem to outdated computers across the state.
You know, I know they have a very cumbersome computer system that's very antiquated that they're dealing with. And if they don't put it on the exact right screen when they make that selection, that's where the problems seem to occur.
So if they don't ask someone about their party because they're there for something else, they can get switched.
Because all somebody's trying to do maybe is change their address, and then when the button's pushed, it's now taken their whatever their party affiliation was and put it to unknown, which automatically defaults to NPA in our eyes.
And young voters who may be more likely to move may be more likely to get switched.
I took 5 people, and including myself, the 6 people that went to vote, one of them could vote.
Again, they all said they had registered with a party, or so they thought.
All of these people were highly motivated to go support their candidate, and they get there and they can't vote.
Well, election supervisors across the state have recommended changes. They want staff at the DMV and tax collectors to always ask about party affiliation.
It has to be a forced question on the party. That way it doesn't matter what screen they're on or what the process is.
And they want those changes before the next primary in August. Coming up, we'll take a look back at this wild week in Philly and look ahead to the race in Florida. Former White House Chief of Staff and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta will join us, and Adam Goodman will weigh in with Republican perspective. Well, the Democrats loaded this week with star power and had some drama along the way, and here's a look back at how this week played out.
I hereby call the 47th Quadrennial Democratic National Convention to order.
Hell no, DNC, we won't vote for Hillary.
This election is about and must be about the needs of the American people and the kind of future we create for our children and our grandchildren.
Don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
If these kids or people do not vote, then they're handing the election to Trump, and it's going to be on their shoulders.
She's competent. And at this time in America's history, what we need is someone who's a steady hand on the wheel, who's competent, who cares about policy, who doesn't reduce policy to 140 characters on Twitter.
She's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
And no matter how daunting the odds, no matter how much people try to knock her down, she never, ever quits.
Tonight, we've reached a milestone in our nation's march toward a more perfect union. The first time that a major party has nominated a woman for president.
She's a listener and a doer. She's a woman driven by compassion, by faith, by a fierce sense of justice, and a heart full of love.
Well, I will be a president for Democrats, Republicans, independents, for the struggling, the striving, the successful, for all those who vote for me and for those who don't, for all Americans together.
Coming up, perspective from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta and Republican strategist Adam Goodman. We want to close out this week in Philly with perspective from both sides, so we caught up with Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta and Republican strategist Adam Goodman. How does Secretary Clinton win over the Bernie Sanders holdouts beyond just a one-night speech in 1 week in Philadelphia?
Well, I think that started Monday night when Bernie gave her a full-throated endorsement here at the convention. But in the end of the day, we intend to go earn those votes. I think that we have got the most progressive platform in the history of the Democratic Party.
Certainly one of the highlights for the Democrats was Bill Clinton and his case for Hillary Clinton.
Have to give Bill Clinton credit. That was a hell of a speech, but he set something up. He set up something without knowing it. He referred to Hillary Clinton as the change maker. Well, the question then has to be asked, well, what are you going to change about the 8 years we've had under President Obama? Specifically, what is it you don't like? And if it is a continuation of President Obama and his legacy, his policies, then how can you be a change maker at all? I think it is disingenuous that to try to counter what is obviously the biggest strength that Donald Trump has.
Well, thank you for watching. Now we're heading home to Tampa for the home opener of our new nightly edition of Money, Power, and Politics. We'll see you Monday night at 11:30.